Welcome to the Very Merry Life podcast, unfiltered, unscripted, and always relatable as fuck. I'm your host, Mary Hendricks, and you might know me from Instagram as That Relatable AF Mama, who hopefully feels like an old friend at this point. And if not, hang tight and join in as things get real, honest, and probably a bit too TMI as I, and the help of some amazing guests, dive into all things mom life, marriage, sex, and more. No experts, just real life moms talking real life things. So get ready to laugh lots, cry occasionally, and leave feeling seen, supported, and inspired. Making friends is hard enough as an adult, let alone as a mom, but all of that changes right here and now. So hang on, lean in, virtually clink whatever glass you have nearby with mine, and let's go. All right. Hi, guys. Hi, Jenna. Hi, Katie.
Hey.
Hi.
Okay, so before we get into all of this, I'm going to have you guys introduce yourselves first and say hello to everyone. So Jenna, you go first. Tell everyone about you.
Okay, so my name's Jenna. I have an Instagram page. It's the Snuggle is Real __RN. I have regrets about the amount of underscores.
Yeah, don't get the underscores wrong or else someone might impersonate.
Oh my God.
That's an underscore, not a dash.
Yes. And so I live in Maryland with my husband, Jake, and our 3 boys. And we've been together for 14 years and married for 7, which makes me feel really old. I'm only 31. I feel like that's young still though. Yeah. And our boys, so Dean is 5 and Luther is 3.5 and Henry is 17 months. And then I am a nurse part-time at a fertility clinic. And I started this page probably like everybody else, like height of the pandemic, feeling kind of lost. And then I didn't really know what I wanted it to be. I was still working full-time. And then I finally had a chance after I had Henry to cut back my hours. And I was like, I'm going to dedicate some serious time to this. And then it turned into like this place where I could connect with other moms like you guys and just build a community and people who just, I don't know, were there for a laugh. And it felt like a good place to be. So
Love it.
Yeah.
And you're good at it.
Oh,
Yeah. Both of you guys are. Katie, how about you?
I'm Katie. I live in California. I think I'm the oldest one in this group.
How old are you?
I'm going to be 38 in January.
Are you
you're
really?
not.
Yeah.
Girlfriend.
Well, you're looking good, girl.
Yeah, what the fuck? I look older than you. Jesus. Shit.
Don't get too close. You might see all my wrinkle cream like at work. This is why Instagram has filters. I wish Zoom needs filters.
Yeah, but you don't have a filter on. I'm looking at you and you look fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Well, anyway, I live in California. I also have 3 kids who are 5, 3.5, and 16 months. So I am riding the struggle bus.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we're all like just taking turns behind the wheel.
Mm-hmm.
I also started my page. It's just my name, Katie Sproul. At the height of the pandemic, I have a background in pediatric occupational therapy, and I started by posting activities and things for parents because when the pandemic hit, everyone became a stay-at-home parent and everybody was losing their minds going, what do I do with my kids all day? Mm-hmm. And so I started with activities and it just sort of organically became just sharing about mom life because I feel like the parents who weren't stay-at-home parents suddenly found themselves struggling in a completely new way and thinking, is there something wrong with me? Is there something wrong with my kids? Why is this so hard? And all the stay-at-home moms or stay-at-home dads around the world were going, oh, hello, welcome to the club. This is what it's like.
Yeah.
And so I organically sort of made a shift to just sharing more about mom life, mom hacks and things like that. And the occasional kids activities sprinkled in.
Love, 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 love. Well, today's episode obviously as the title will show, we're going to talk about wine culture and all 3 of us currently have wine in front of us. So we'll give you a little bit of an insight as to our feelings on this. But before we hit record on this episode, we were just chit chatting and Katie was finishing up her dinner and kind of doing all this stuff. And we were talking, and that's what we're going to just break. We're going to get right into it. We were talking about an influencer and we're not going to name names. And one that I'm not connected with. You know what? It's like a club. You kind of think that everyone knows each other. You don't,
Yeah.
But I don't know this influencer. She's in the same mommy sphere. So she's in the whole niche of motherhood. She also has 4 kids?
3.
whatever.
I think 3.
I don't know. I just looked at her page briefly before I blocked her. Sorry. Oops. But I that sounds like such a little asshole move, but I do it because you got to protect your peace.
You do it for your own mental health.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, I feel like so many influencers tell our audiences, like, look, unfollow people that make you feel, if they make you feel badly about yourselves, unfollow them, myself included.
Especially I block too, especially when you get into this niche of motherhood. There's so many of us. Many of us. Imposter syndrome is a very real deal thing. And when you are trying to make this your thing, it is very important to keep blinders up. There are a handful of people that I engage with on a daily basis. And sometimes I feel terrible because I feel like, for me, I always feel bad. Like if I'm not reciprocating engagement, a lot of times it's because I keep my blinders up so much on my profile that I literally log in to get on my stories, share my stuff, get out, because I need to just keep doing my thing.
But also it can suck you in and you're stuck like swiping and trying to reply to everything. And it's just overwhelming.
Well, but it's very easy to compare, and it's very easy then and that's just from an influencer content creator, perspective of that, the comparison thing. But from a mom thing, what this influencer, why I blocked her is because we have nothing in common. Based off of what she and what we're talking about here, we have literally nothing in common. And the reel that we were just talking about is she put up an introduction reel, and maybe if you follow her, then you would know what we're talking about. But she put up an introduction reel saying that if you're here for clean humor, moms that don't swear, and moms that aren't into toxic wine just wine mom culture or whatever, then I'm your girl. And basically saying that I get it. Like, if you don't want to drink, like, you don't have to drink in order to follow us. Like, we're not, most accounts are not.
We're not toasted every night.
I don't post about wine every night.
No. And we're not posting saying like, get drunk. Your kids suck. We're not doing any of that.
You have to get drunk in order to tolerate your children.
No. And the way she just worded it was, honestly, the thing I take more offense of is her saying that bad words. That actually bothers me more.
You're like, I have a shirt that says good moms say bad words.
Yeah. Well, I just am someone that likes a little spice. I'm Jersey. Yeah. Like, I'm going to just blame the Jersey card. I just swear every other word.
Yeah.
I'm married to a police officer. That's like, you should be law enforcement officers are just, I don't know what it is with them, but it's just our life. It's something we don't even think about, but, that's why I blocked her, is because we don't have anything in common and I don't need any of that crap. But it brings up a good point, and that's what we were going to talk about is wine mom culture and bad word mom culture.
I feel like there's so much to say on it, but I feel like there's enough that we're hard on ourselves for. We're hard on ourselves every time we snap at our kids. Like, I don't know of a single mom that feels good after we snap. Like, that felt really good. It might have felt like a release.
Really unloaded that.
It might have felt like a release, but afterwards you're like beating yourself up about it. And I feel like we beat ourselves up. The mom guilt thing is real. And I feel like there's enough that we are hard on ourselves for that. I don't need more to pile on.
No.
And I think that the whole wine mom culture thing is becoming, there's like this anti wine mom culture that's starting up on Instagram and on social media. And you do you, boo. Like, if you don't drink, that's fine. If you don't swear, that's fine. And great, good for you. But I'm not getting drunk every night. And just because I'm having an occasional glass of wine, or I'm making some sort of funny spin on, it's been a rough day and I'm going to have a glass of wine. Like, who cares?
Didn't you get like so shamed for your high noon reel or something?
Yes.
That was so ridiculous.
Oh my God. We
were going back and forth about that.
The one where I'm drinking a high noon. And by the way, it wasn't even full. I had already drank it. But I'm drinking a high noon, and I'm saying, it's the one where it's not my voice. I was reusing somebody else's audio, and it's saying like, you know what's crazy that I started thinking about the other day? I'm a mom. Like, I have a child that's only my responsibility. And it's funny because honestly, how many of us like look at our lives and we're like, how did I get here?
Holy shit.
Like, what? Like,
I just had this moment like yesterday. I'm like, I can't be responsible for all these humans.
Yeah. But I got torn apart on that by so many people, so many comments I had to delete because I was just like, not for me, but I don't want other moms to come across the comments and feel like, oh my God, I do this too. And that makes me a shitty mom because all these people have something to say about it. People were saying crazy things like, you're getting drunk while your child's drowning in a pool or something like that. And I'm like, okay, first of all, I don't even have a fucking pool.
Oh, that's a big leap.
Like, okay. And my kid's napping while I'm doing this. Thank you so much.
No, it's all projection. Here's my thing. And I posted about this a while ago, like last year. I have a picture. It was for right here at home. You know, the sweatshirt. I love them.
Yeah.
But it's me wearing, I forget what the sweatshirt says, chaos coordinator or something, or chaos. I don't even know. Yeah. But it's me holding a glass of wine and a cup of coffee or something. And it was when I used to do like these Monday chats and people used to vote on a topic and then we would chat about it. And it was the wine coffee mom culture. And I throw coffee mom in there because for some reason, coffee moms aren't getting shit.
Why is it any different? Just because it's alcoholic?
Yeah.
Well, exactly. But that's the thing is like,
I need it to survive.
No shit. But why are we not looking at that? And the thing in my topic was, why are we not looking at this? Like for me, I will fully admit right now, like this is my third night this week that I've drank wine because Kevin and I recently sat down and we said, we're drinking too much. And we can tell that it's starting to get to a point where we're like, it's just becoming a thing.
Yeah.
We don't want that to happen.
It's easy. Oh, let's pour it and we'll sit down when the kids are in bed.
And we don't want that. So we don't feel good. We're tired. Like we don't want this to be a thing. And I will admit there has been times where I have been stressed, overwhelmed, and I look at the clock and if it's close enough to 5, I will feel a sense of relief because I know it's socially appropriate to pour a glass of wine.
Yes.
And I don't want that. Yeah. I don't want that. I don't mind it. But I don't want to look all day and be like, how close am I to 5?
Is it 5? Yeah.
Right.
But the difference is you're recognizing that. I think that the whole spin on it is that they're trying to be like, you cannot tolerate your kids so much that you need to be drunk every day. And it's like,
well, and that's the
I just
thing.
want a glass of wine.
Yeah. I think there's a fine line. I think there's definitely a fine line where it's like, we need to look at the conversation as a whole. Like, and that's why the coffee mom and wine mom thing is like, why are we bashing moms that are saying, I'm so hyped up? Like for me, a lot of times I drink a glass of wine because I am so revved up throughout the day. Yeah. I'm brought so high from stimulation from everything that a glass of wine brings me down. Yeah. I'd smoke pot if I could, but I can't. I can't.
Yeah.
So it's either that or pot. I don't know what else to do or a medication. I don't know, but I get so hyped that sometimes I need something to knock me down a notch. And that is a glass of wine, just the same thing as a cup of coffee in the morning.
Yeah.
But you would never knock someone. And I'm not saying that like wine is my medicine or anything like mommy needs her medicine or anything like that. But at the same time, like if this is something that like brings me joy, like having a glass of wine on occasion, like who cares? And you would never talk negatively about a mom who has like anxiety and takes anxiety medication.
Well, like some people would. That's true.
Some people would. I mean,
there's a battle amongst everyone. There's the battle amongst the moms that take medication. There's a battle amongst moms that smoke pot.
It's like, who's better?
Because I've seen that on TikTok of cannabis moms blasting wine moms.
Yeah.
And saying that, and I'm like, because they think
you all have your
smoking
vice
pot is way better than drinking wine, which maybe scientific, I don't know. I mean, this damages my liver. I would think pot, I don't know.
I heard red wine is good for your heart. So
I'm opposed to all of it. I'm not opposed to any of it. I'm all for a good gummy every now and again, but I can't. So this is unfiltered. I get to say everything. But
I feel like it's a form for me of like, I would call it even like self-care. Like we'll come down, we'll put the kids to bed, we'll come down, we'll like each have a glass of wine and watch a Netflix show. And I'm not like trying to turn up. I'm just trying to like relax and chill with my husband.
Well, and it's
not even if he's not drinking and I want one, like it's not a big deal. I'm not trying to get crazy.
No.
Well, and it's also not even like about getting, for me, it's not even about getting buzzed or getting drunk. Like,
or
I
about the
actually
kids.
genuinely,
It's for me.
yeah, I just genuinely enjoy the taste of red wine. Like,
Same with me.
just
I love
genuinely
red
enjoy
wine.
it.
Yeah.
Well, I went over today. I went to my parents earlier today, and my parents recently went to Napa. So they got back and they bought like all these cases of like red wine and like really good red wine.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to drink today. And I went to my parents and Kevin looked at me. He's like, I thought you weren't going to drink today. I was like, it's really good wine, Kev. I was like, how can I turn this down? This is like really, because I really enjoy learning about it. I enjoy all those things, but I do it in moderation. If I found that my day was really being impacted, and I'm going to be honest, like I have found I think it was during the pandemic, I knew I hit a low point, not where I was like being violent or anything. I just knew that I was relying on wine to like just make the day better.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't getting obliterated or anything. I just was looking during the pandemic, everyone was like, I thought the world was,
everybody was.
So
I was still working full time and it was so brutal, like trying to navigate that with like the kids and daycare and like not knowing what was happening. And like, should I be sending them somewhere? But I also need to pay for my house. Like no clue.
Yeah. Like stress. And I know every day I was pouring like 2 or 3 glasses of wine where and then, I mean, you get 3 glasses of wine and then you're just like a little at dinner. And Kevin's like, you should probably chill for a little bit. And I'm like, yeah, I probably should. Yeah. So I've been on both sides. Like, I think it's it can be a coping mechanism. I will agree on that. It can be a coping. It cannot be your only coping. You need to have other shit. Coping is no different than self-care. So I say the same thing. Self-care is great. It's not a solution. So this is my self-care.
Yeah.
But I need to take care of everything else in here and everything else in a different arena. This is just one factor that brings me joy in my life and makes me smile more.
And I just feel like the whole thing, like people trying to relate you drinking the wine to like you being irritated with your kids, but I was doing this after working or like college.
I mean, I was doing this long before kids.
Yeah. So it has nothing to do with them. And it's not like they're being so bad. I'm like, God, I can't wait to like tear into that bottle. Like it's really,
I think alcohol culture in general, like just alcohol in general, there's like just a big push for, I don't know. I've seen like a big thing with like people coming after alcohol in general and like how normalized alcohol use is.
Toxic beer dad culture. Like, where's that?
Yeah.
No one talks about that. Yeah. No, like I just,
or your grandma used to have a nightcap every night.
Well, I had someone recently say like Cassidy came in, I don't even know, like 2 weeks ago. And she said something like Cabernet. I think she asked me what it was. And I said Cabernet. And she repeated it back to me. And someone responded to me in my DM saying, wait for people to come after you for drinking in front of your kids. And I was like,
did they?
No.
Thank God.
Because again, that's why I blocked that chick is because that's not my audience.
Yeah.
I'm me. I'm not going to be everyone's cup of tea. So I drink wine and I like to say the word fuck a lot. So if you don't like that,
we're here for it.
Then tough cookies. But so no one did, and I replied back to them and I said, that would be silly if they did, because I want to normalize this so much where like, I don't want this to be such a taboo thing for my kids.
Yeah.
Because
or just being able to talk about your day in general and not have people like tearing you down.
Well, yeah, like that in general, but like just a wine and same with like bad words. I don't even say them. They're bad words. Kevin today, Cassidy won't let him say any cause I think Kev said shit or something cute. She was like, Daddy, no, only mommy can say those words. And we just looked at him. I was like,
house rules.
I'm like, that works. But Cassidy's big thing, recently, because she'll say them, but she won't say them in passing. She'll say them to me. And I'm like, no. And she's like, they're a bad word. And I'm like, no, they're not a bad word. It's a mommy word.
It's a grown-up word.
I said, when you become a mommy, you can say these words.
Yeah. My parents cussed around me all the time. And they used to just be like, you can't like do what we do. You know,
yeah,
like, just old enough.
What is it? Don't. There's no
what I say. Don't do what I do. Yeah,
right.
Which was fine, and I was okay with that. But my kids, they like repeat everything. I swear, I said like nipple one time because I'm like, breastfeeding, I don't know, must have come up, right? And now Luther all the time is just running around screaming nipple. The other day we were like hugging him and he was like, why are you squeezing me like a nipple? And I'm like, what? But now I also think he thinks that nipple is a pimple.
Maybe. Now it's just like we're talking about
it. They pick up on like our facial cues. Even if we think we're not reacting, they know.
Oh,
like
God.
Cassidy.
They do it for a reaction.
Oh, completely.
Right.
Cassidy's big thing is to yell penis all the time now.
Yes.
Which I know
That shit
I'm
cracks me up.
reacting. Well, she does this. And Kevin got mad the other day because not mad. He was like, like people are going to think something's going on. If she keeps saying the word penis. And I'm like, that's not true. And he was like, Mary, I've worked crimes against kids. Like someone's going to think something's wrong. And I'm like, that's not true. I was like, we're teaching her anatomy. He was like, Mary, just trust me on this. I've heard people call the police and authorities for lesser reasons.
Yeah.
And I was like, that makes no sense. But
if it's any consolation, we get artwork sent home from school for whatever reason. I don't know why. I don't know why this is. For whatever reason, my son, whenever he draws a picture of daddy is naked.
What?
Yeah. Like, he'll draw a picture of him and daddy and he's dressed, but daddy's not. And I'm like,
the school hasn't called you yet.
No.
I can understand this, but so Kev, when Kev gets ready, I'm so sorry if Kev, you're listening. I got to mute it because my phone's going off. Oh, he's texting me. He must be on the plane. What? Sorry, he's on a plane. Let's see what he said. We got pulled back to the gate and deplaned.
What?
There was a mechanical issue with one of the instruments in the cockpit and the maintenance crew was fixing it.
Jeez.
Looks like we'll depart in an hour could be the reason why the flight was delayed in the first place. So he's sitting in the airport. That sucks. That gives me such anxiety. I have such a fear of flying. So like hearing that.
Also don't get back on that plane. Like, can we get a new plane?
We'll be back after a quick break.
Eye-Opening Moments podcasts are real-life stories of adversity, encounters, and perspectives. They are moments that can lift your spirits, give you some food for thought, or move you. For the introspective mind that likes to reflect, discover, and find solutions or meaning in a complex life, listen to Eye-Opening Moments podcasts.
I told him, I said, just cancel and come home. I'm going to text him, cancel and come home. Por favor. Thank you.
Otherwise, I'm going to text you first thing in the morning and be like, tell me everything's okay.
Yeah. Right. Jesus Christ. Anyway, I want to go back to that. And I asked on my stories today saying like, what are your thoughts on wine mom culture? So I'm going to go through like some of the responses. So everything in moderation, but moms seem to be shamed for drinking wine. Correct.
True.
Because it's gone to extremes.
Yeah. Because people are just looking for reasons to shame moms for some reason. I don't know why. Like, did your mama do you dirty? I don't know why y'all so mad.
That is the case. It's projecting. Yeah. People project. Yeah. They project their own insecurities and their doubts and fears onto moms. That's and experiences. Like, I feel terribly like Kevin has alcoholism in his family. Like I get it. Like it's a terrible, terrible thing. But
it ain't me.
We need to cool our jets.
Right. Like, stop jumping to conclusions.
Yeah.
Based on a 20-second reel.
Yeah. I'm Italian. So wine is just a part of our DNA. It's good. It calms me to get through my tough days.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. Same.
Mama loves wine. Mama loves wine. Then mama shall drink wine. Yes. Can there even be one without the other? Drink it if you got it. All for it. They need to enjoy like every other person in the world. Yep. I hate the shaming of mom wine culture. Why give moms another thing to be guilty of? We just said
exactly.
I feel like that's my the right type of people following you.
That's
why I blocked the other girl. I have no reason.
I think that's my biggest thing is just like, stop shaming moms for one more thing. Like we're shamed for so much. We're shamed for, quote unquote, complaining about our kids. We're shamed for being on our phones in front of our kids. We're shamed for putting them in front of a screen. We're shamed for so much. And it's like, we're just trying to survive and we're just trying to do our best. So back off. Like I've got enough in my own head that's questioning myself. Like I don't need to add in your voice to the conversation because it's not serving me. Mary and I were talking a while back about, like mom shaming and mom guilt and all this stuff and how moms are shamed so much for complaining or talking about the struggles of being a mom and motherhood. First of all, dads,
because it's so frustrating.
Right. First of all, dads are not. Dads can complain, and they're not. They're like praised almost. Like
the dad accounts
I can't believe you do so much. Yeah, which dads are great, and I have a fantastic husband who is an incredible father to our kids and a fantastic partner. But if he were posting the same content that I was posting, it would be received in a completely different way.
Yes.
And I was saying to Mary one time, like for moms like us, particularly stay-at-home moms or stay-at-home parents in general, we share about our day-to-day. We share about the struggles, just like somebody who goes to an office talks to their coworkers. Like I consider you guys and so many of the other moms that I connect with online, my coworkers. We're coworkers. Like we are doing the same job, struggling in so many of the same ways. And we need to vent and we need to bounce ideas off of it, or just hear that like somebody else is struggling and somebody else is sharing this ride with us, that we're not alone, because nobody wants to be alone. Nobody wants to feel alone.
No.
And so like we are shamed so much though, every time we talk about how hard it is, because you chose
to have
to be
kids.
moms. You chose that life. And I'm like, well, okay, but so did you. But do you have terrible days? And do you complain about your boss to your coworkers? I'm doing the same thing.
I can tell you, because I gotta work like 2 days a week. Like when I go there, it's the same situation. I work with a whole bunch of moms. We literally just sit and like vent about like all the struggles that we're having. It's just like this. I'm like, okay, but no one's in there like, oh, can't believe you're talking about your kids like that. Like, no, they're all chiming in like, holy shit, yes, my baby did that.
It's just because you're on a social platform, opening it up to the world, as opposed to a room of 5 or 10 other moms, that because we open ourselves up, on a public platform, other people, and many of which are not parents themselves, by the way,
or they're like
feel the need to chime in and
who did not relate.
Right. And I think that that's the other group is older moms like to chime in and tell us to stop complaining. But at the same time, like, I feel like we are doing such a service to moms who come after us, because they're going to hopefully feel more free to talk about their feelings and free to talk about the struggles, because our generation of moms is talking about it. Whereas like our moms and their moms were forced to just kind of stuff it down and like suck it up and move on,
but it was a totally
carry on.
Thing. Yeah. They didn't have the same, like every generation has the different thing that they're facing. Like they didn't even have social media. So, and I mean, I feel like my parents would just send me outside and be like, come back when it's dark.
Yeah.
I will not. Okay. I'm afraid these kids are about to get snatched up. I'm not doing it.
It's a very
I'm
different.
so paranoid because I've seen just so many.
Have you been watching Dateline too much?
I just watched Dahmer, and I'm like, okay,
I need to watch that.
Everyone's a serial killer.
It's so messed up. It's so messed up.
Freaking no. I'm like, no. I told like the other day I went to Target and I debated going in. I was like, no, someone's gonna try and take my baby. I'm not going in there. And Jake's like, what is wrong with you? I'm like, look at these beautiful babies. Everybody wants them. Okay. But they didn't. I just feel like,
but you're right. Every generation has their struggles. And I can't say that being a mom these days is more challenging than it was being a mom
just
back then, because I haven't experienced both, but I have had a number of moms who are older who follow me, or, women that are grandmothers that follow me, which I love. The grandmas are like the best. They're so cute.
Because the ones that choose to follow you are like, they're
like, oh, I remember those days,
the sweet ones.
But they will oftentimes say, I think it's harder to be a mom these days than it was for us. And we might look at our children and be like, oh my gosh, it's so much harder for them than it was for us. But I just hope that they feel a freedom of talking about it. It's the whole, like, I mean, you could go off on a long tangent about mental health and how we're at least like having this conversation and, talking about our struggles, talking about the difficulties that we face.
Like our whole generation's in therapy.
Talking about the mom guilt. And
Yeah.
Like, let's not pile on. Like, I don't need to also feel guilty about drinking wine because I already feel guilty every time I snap at my kid.
Well, and I think moms today with social media, I think it's definitely helpful in some aspects. It's it can be very hurtful and different.
Yeah.
In other aspects.
In some ways it's toxic. Yeah.
Oh, completely. Because
when I start getting trolled, I'm like, ugh, I just don't even be on here anymore.
Right.
Well, like step away for a while.
Yeah, well, because it takes a second, but like for just one comment to tear you down all day,
it will
and
ruin
that's
my whole
the downside.
Day.
But that's, I mean, again, that's from like an influencer standpoint, but from like a mom standpoint, there's so much freaking information out there. And again, the reason why, like going back to this girl that I blocked, and we're talking about like this other influencer, that from a mom aspect is a reason, like that's one downside. Like if you're a mom that likes to swear and likes to drink occasionally in a responsible way, again, responsibility is like the number one thing that we're going to be talking about here. To see that saying that, like that you're, and see other moms in the comments saying like, thank you. I can't stand this bad mom culture, like bad moms, blah, 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 blah. Like you're not a bad mom.
Right.
Exactly.
Who's to say like you can be Miss Sunshine Daisies speaking about what butterflies and roses at home and drinking water and be the worst mom ever. I'm sorry. It's not a caliber. I don't care how much wine you're drinking and how many swear words you're saying. If you're a good mom, you're a good mom.
There is no one right way to parent. And that's the end of it.
No, there's not one, like, there's like a mold, like there's this thing. And like, again, you don't have to swear. You don't have to drink. You don't have to do any of that stuff. And
but if you do,
you're still a good mom.
Okay.
And if you don't, you're still a good mom. If as long as the core values of your household are there, which is you're keeping your kids alive and you're keeping them happy and healthy, then you're good mom.
Right.
I got slammed for saying keep the tiny humans alive one time, which is impossible. They were like, I mean, I feel bad for this person. They lost a pregnancy and they were like, I did everything I could to keep my pregnancy alive. And I find this phrase hurtful. And I'm like, what?
Everybody projects. Yeah. I mean, everybody projects. I mean, yeah, I've been through it, but I use that phrase all the time. I've been through a miscarriage.
My pediatrician uses that phrase. And me too.
It's just, I feel like what Mary said a while back it's so accurate. I think everybody has their own interpretations of what they see, that they're projecting their own stuff onto others. And I think what you have to realize is like, there's always somebody else on the other side of this that is creating this or feels this way. And so for you to sort of diminish or, bash the way that I'm feeling, like that's not helpful. And it's also not helpful. Like when I got bashed for the high noon one, where I wasn't even talking about the fact that I was drinking. I just happened to, it was a prop that I was holding in my hand. It could have just as easily been a Diet Coke can. Like, who cares? That's not the message of the real. But I had to delete so many messages because as an influencer or a creator or whatever you want to call us, we choose to put ourselves out there. And so I know that there's a certain level of trolling and negativity that I'm going to receive. And I'm okay with that. I fully am aware of what I am entering into. The moms who follow me for relatable content and to feel like they are not alone, maybe didn't sign on for that. And I don't want them to come into my comment section and be like, oh my God, like that they feel bad about something that somebody else is saying about me because they see themselves in me. It's just, it goes so much further than just bashing me. You're bashing everybody who aligns themselves with me.
Well, and I think again, that's why like with the whole wine mom culture and everything, like we're ganging up on something. But again, like I'm a big believer with all of this stuff. It's and I talked, like I said, I brought this up in a post, coffee mom, wine mom. Like I literally don't see much of a difference. I know that sounds terrible. Like, wine will make you drunk, whatever. But
caffeine gives you a high too. Like, unless you're drinking decaf, like,
and you need
caffeine is a stimulant.
No shit. So like for me, I'm like, why aren't we addressing all of it? Like, why are moms tired? Why are moms overwhelmed? Why are moms burnt out? Like at the end of the day, like if everything was perfect and peachy keen, then let's address a bigger issue. And not to say that should be a Band-Aid. It shouldn't be a Band-Aid, but it is. It's part of, it's a little bit of a Band-Aid so we can try to hopefully get our shit together and navigate stuff. But again, mom shaming drives me bonkers.
Yeah.
Because it comes out of nowhere with no help. Don't say shit unless you want to help. So if you're disagreeing with the amount of me drinking wine, if you disagree with me pouring a glass of wine, come over and watch my kids.
Yeah.
if you are disagreeing with me pouring a cup of coffee in the morning, come over and let me sleep in.
Right.
Like I get so mad about mom shaming for that standpoint where I'm like, you just throw shame out there without
you offered nothing.
You offer nothing but words. Like, then great. But like, do I think moms should be fueling themselves constantly thinking like wine, coffee? No, like I want people to be healthy. Are those three things the healthiest things for you? No, but they're not bad in moderation. So lay the fuck off.
Like when I was working full time at the hospital before I even had kids, like I would need to get like a freaking mega huge coffee. Nobody shaming me then. Like literally the biggest coffee of my entire life just to survive 12 hours. I mean, I feel like I need it less now with kids than I did then trying to like work overnight.
That's just because you're not able to drink it while it's hot, Jenna.
Yeah. Agree.
It's that you can't drink it as much.
Yeah, it's true. I did at least get to drink it while it was the appropriate temperature.
Those were the days, right?
I want to hear more about the comments back about the mom culture on your stories.
I think we need it. Smiley face or laughing emoji, but really when used responsibly, moms deserve to have something too. It's no different than dads and beer. No one questions a dad if he has a beer at noon on a Saturday, but if I were to pour wine, I would get the side eye.
Right. I love this person. So true.
It goes back to like, I feel like moms are just inherently seen as the primary caregiver. I mean, that I could go off on a whole long tangent about that. There's another
default
fabulous. The default parent. And I think we all know the Instagrammer that is like the queen of talking about default parenting, Libby. Like she nails it. And it's so true. And I feel like I do that to myself, but I feel like society does that as a whole to moms, that we're seen as the default parent. We're seen as the primary caregiver, and our husbands are constantly seen as our support. Yeah. And so they're allowed to like relax and have fun and, chill. Crack open a beer, go away for the weekend, do this, that, and the other thing. But like when moms do it, it's like, yes.
I do that shit to myself though, because Jake will be like, tell me what you're doing so that I can do it later. And I'm like, no, it's just easier if I do it.
Yeah.
Out of the way. To myself.
I know. I do too. I'm like,
offering help. And I'm
listen to the, do you guys listen to Cat and Nat podcast?
No, I know.
But I do follow them.
You told me about them recently.
To them. Go put on, when you're driving, put on an episode. They just put out a podcast recently and the title of it is Marriage Benefits Men. Listen to it. It is so good. And they go through like how marriage statistically benefits men, but marriage statistically makes women's lives worse. And they go into like default parenting. And they both say, they're like, we do it to ourselves. Like we completely did it to ourselves. Like, why do we think this is like with, is it just because men inherently or instinctually aren't good caregivers or and she's like, no, it's because we've been
programmed
have just been programmed to think that this is what we're doing. The other so interesting. You got to listen to it. So everyone listening, go listen to their podcast because it was great. Okay, this is another comment. My mom was a wino and it was very problematic. It's all about responsibility and modeling. Correct.
Right. And I think, you could easily look at a 10 or 15 second reel of me having a glass of wine. And I feel like so many people just jump to conclusions that like, oh, she must do this every night.
Yes.
She must be an alcoholic. And the two are not mutually exclusive. Like just because I have a glass of wine on occasion and I'm posting a reel every once in a while, holding a glass of wine or talking about like, thank goodness it's 5 o'clock or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
First of all, it's a joke. Like,
gosh,
lighten
why
up.
do people get that?
Second of all,
the leaps and bounds from a 5-second video is absurd.
that is a very serious problem that I don't want to diminish. Like alcoholism is not something to joke about, but I'm not joking about alcoholism. I'm making a joke about like, oh, today was a sucky day as a mom. And like, it starts and ends there. Like you don't have to read into it. Like mom humor is very,
it's like reading a meme. That's what people forget is we're literally recreating, like, what are they called? Memes?
Yes.
That's all we're doing.
Yeah.
Right.
Or a moment from your life,
form.
like hyper exaggerated.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, that exact thing did not happen to me. Okay. I didn't do that, but it could have went like this.
Yeah.
Right.
No, it's all dramatic. It's dramatics. That's all it is.
Yeah. It's theatrics. It's the whole thing.
Let's see. Wine is delicious and a must. But social media sometimes makes it seem like moms need to just be drunk. I can see that.
But
I can see that too.
What we're saying.
I can see that too. But again, one glass of wine does not make me drunk.
No,
I can see it. If
I see that.
Yeah, I can see it if it's like a constant where like, if you're constantly getting on and you're making a reel saying like, it's 5 o'clock, the kids are driving me bonkers. Yeah. Cheers, like whatever. Like if it's constantly that, then that, I mean,
but I don't know that I've seen an account. I don't know that I've seen a mom who's posting about it constantly where I'm sitting there going, does she have an alcohol problem?
Right. Or that the account.
No, well, it's again,
If you're smart,
a 15-second reel is going to be
with someone else's audio.
Right. I didn't say that. I'm just mouthing it.
Yeah, right. I have mixed feelings. Sometimes I feel like it's 100% relatable. Other times, my husband, who's currently in recovery, I feel like it can be a problem.
Yeah.
Again, it's hard.
But again, that's the extreme.
It's like situational though. Like you have to know what you're okay with and what your family's okay with.
Same thoughts as dads with beer.
Yes.
So, the more the merrier, duh. I'm a mom and also drinks wine, and I'm here for it. I think it's sad when moms say that they need wine to tolerate their kids. Agreed.
But I don't feel like anyone is saying
I don't know that anybody's saying
interpreting
that.
it.
Or at least I'm not. I don't think either of you are.
No, I think it's a interpretation.
Yes. Yeah. That's what they're taking from it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because I think the joke has just become so much where like, thank God there's wine. Like my kids are young. Thank God there's wine. I know I say that. I'm like, how do you get through the day with 3 little kids? Wine.
Yes.
But I say that as a joke. It's not like I'm chugging that, but maybe that's a problem. I don't know. Maybe that's a problem. Maybe that's something.
I think that's like a piece of the whole toxic culture.
Yeah.
That it's made a joke, but it's like, I don't know. Everything's taken so seriously sometimes.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I get it. Where again, if it's being used as your only coping mechanism, if that is what you're viewing things on, if you're getting to the end of a day and you literally feel like that is your only choice is to numb something, if you feel like you need to numb something with alcohol, or you feel like you need to get buzzed, or you feel
deeper,
something's going on.
Yeah, then that's a much different conversation.
Different conversation, which I think is serious enough where I think that's where we're missing the mark of like reminding people like, hey, this is done responsibly. Like I can joke like, I drink wine sometimes because my kids brought me up to here.
Am I still taking care of them the entire time? Am I still taking care of them?
Yes. And it's not anything to worry about if I'm doing it on a daily, because I feel like I am in over my head and am I too afraid to speak on it. I've gotten to that point. I will be fully transparent, not in a way where it was an issue, but it was like during the pandemic, I was stressed out of my mind. I was so overwhelmed where it was the easiest thing to stay in your house where everyone was and just drink wine because I didn't know what else to do.
Right.
It wasn't.
And other people were like doing the same thing. You were like, oh,
well, exactly. Like people who aren't parents, non-parents, young, old. Yeah. Right. But like more than moms were doing that.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, no, it's everyone.
Somehow,
it's just
but like, somehow it's because we're moms. I feel like moms are sort of an easy target. We're also such a huge, I guess, market. Like we're such a huge there's such a huge population of us that are sharing online that we're a big, there's a large number of us sharing. And so I feel like we're an easy target.
Yeah. Like you're logging in, you're seeing at least one mom.
Right. It makes it easy to like point it out and be like, there's another mom drinking wine.
Let me see. It's made me think that I was an alcoholic because I enjoy a freaking glass of wine. So that
right. That's the sad thing. That's not fair.
And no one should feel that way. Internationally, so this person's international, don't know what wine mom culture is, but I'm here for it. So sign me up. I think it's a USA thing.
You know what?
That's not surprising.
Mm-mm.
I mean, wine, alcohol, the way it's looked at in USA, that's a whole different topic, but
I think for me, honestly, it comes down to like, unless we're talking about abusing, first of all, if we're talking about abusing alcohol or abusing or mistreating your kids, or we're talking about something that is dangerous, putting your kids in danger, putting yourself in danger, like just let other moms do what works for them. Like let us
those
live.
things are drastically different.
Yeah. Like I just, like I said before, like I think we have enough to worry about. We have enough that we stress out about. We have enough things that we're hard on ourselves for, that I don't need to also add like another little Katie thought going like, are you a bad mom because you're having another glass of wine tonight and you had one 2 nights ago? I don't need that in my head. I've already got the voice going, you snapped at them today and that makes you a shitty mom.
Yeah. Me and you have both like had our sob fest. Like, we're so bad.
Yes. And so many moms feel like that. And I think that's why so many moms, there are so many successful mom influencers, mom creators, because it's needed. There are moms everywhere that are struggling, that are feeling alone, that feel like they're the only ones who have it this bad. They're the only ones in this unique situation, or that because social media is what it is, when you're having a really shit day, it never fails. You log on to Instagram and somebody is talking about like, the joys of motherhood. And don't get me wrong, it's fantastic. And I feel this way too, but every single time I'm having a really bad moment and I log on Instagram, I shouldn't do it because
one of the parenting pages hit you.
Yes. It inevitably, you come across like, did you snap at your kids today? And here's what you should have done instead, or here's what you can do. And I'm like,
I'm about to like jump through the screen. Cause it gets me every time.
Or you get the ones that are like, you put the kids to bed and you're like, oh, thank God I made it. I survived another day. Thank God that this day is over. And then you log on and it's like, the years are long, the days are short, and it goes by so fast, and enjoy every moment. And I'm like, freaking A, I did not enjoy today.
No. And then you feel like shit.
Yeah. And so there's so many moms who feel like that. And that's why so many of us have become so successful just sharing relatable motherhood, that don't make us feel bad for it.
No. There's a very large dad account who does like,
oh, I know who you're talking about.
The flip where he'll be like talking to the toddler, right? And then flips and it's like trying to talk to the teen, right? And it's like, you wish you could go back to the toddler who would want to like do their makeup with you or like play with you. I cry at every reel. I blocked this person because I was like, I cannot handle this shame. Like I just lost my shit. I already feel bad enough. And now this guy's coming on here like, well, guess what? In a couple of years, they're not going to want to talk to you. Thank you.
Wait, but he doesn't have teens.
No, he's like doing this whole mind game of like, I have toddlers now and they're wearing me down. And this is what it's probably going to be like.
Hold on, guys. I have Kevin's on the phone. Let's see.
Okay.
Shit. Hey. Oh, are you fucking kidding? Do you want me? No, I can't come and get you.
You can't leave the children.
All right.
That I would shame you for.
Yeah.
No, fuck that, Kev. Just call them. All right. I'm sorry. All right. Bye.
The troops are coming home.
Yes. Sorry, everyone. Kevin is supposed to be traveling, and I'm so excited. He's not traveling. His flight got canceled. I'm so excited. Oh my God.
Reinforcements are coming home, Mary.
God. He's gonna hear this and be like, Mary.
You were like in the back doing like a voodoo doll trick to like get him to stay home.
God. I texted him. I was like, please cancel and come home. Like,
Yeah.
God.
So will he like try to go back tomorrow or like done?
No, because he was only going and he was going to be teaching his course on Tuesday and then flying back on Wednesday morning or something. It's not worth it.
Good for you.
What the? Oh, Jesus. He's all pissed. Like, I get it. He's bummed. I can tell. He's going to have to pay $160 Uber home. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
Just come
Oh my
home.
God.
This is going to be a little bit of a tangent, but forgive me. It's going somewhere, I promise. Very early on, when we were first having Will, our oldest, my husband and I talked and we were like, I do not want to have, when we decided that I was going to be a stay-at-home mom, when I made that decision, we made that decision together. I said, I do not want to have the argument of who had the harder day.
Yep.
There are going to be days where the kids were shit shows and my day sucked. There are going to be days where you had a very difficult surgery or your patients were challenging in some way and you had the harder day and the kids were actually okay. It's a conversation or it's an argument that nobody is going to win. And we do not have that argument. I don't say to him like, I was at home with the kids, or he's not saying I was at work all day. But
I'm guilty. I'm guilty of that. I'll be honest.
Well, and so many people do, and it doesn't make you bad or wrong for doing it. No, it's just something that I did not want to like go down that rabbit hole because neither one of us is going to win. Yeah, but it's different. It's not better, worse, or anything. It's different. When Robbie comes home from work, even though he's been working all day, it's a different change. It's a change of scenery. It's a change of pace. He's leaving one job and coming home to another job as a dad, but it's different. Whereas like, I'm just like in the same tornado all day long. And so
if it's a bad day, it's like, oh my God,
it's like category 5.
Like 18 hours of results.
Yeah. And so when he comes home at 6 o'clock, let's say, his threshold is like still way up here. And my threshold, the kids reached my threshold at 2 o'clock. Like I reached my threshold a long time ago. And so he just has a very different reaction to them than I do. Like the kids are just like winding up and I'm like, enough, like losing my shit. And he's like, whoa, this isn't that bad. And I'm like, but it is for me because I've been around it all day long.
See, and so I usually am in the opposite. Different. See, and I'm the opposite where I am so conditioned to their crazy asses that I am kind of
have a higher threshold for it. But
yes, I go back and forth, but I do both of those things.
I almost get more snappy because I know that Kev is coming home overstimulated.
Oh, yeah.
Where I'm trying, and I've actually, him and I, we just recorded a podcast this past weekend. I'm so excited for you guys here, but we were talking about that. And I said, I've had to check him a couple of times because he will get home from work and he will be so revved up that he will come home and immediately the moment he gets in the door, he'll be like, why is the pillows off the couch? Like, why are things like that? And I'm like, dude,
we've had talks about stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like you not like, don't even, because I was like now, because then I've said it to him. I was like, one, it sounds like you're coming in and critiquing my work. Like this is my work. So don't do that.
Right.
And two, they haven't seen you all day. So you're coming in and they haven't seen you. They're excited. They're bouncing off the walls because they're excited to see you. I said, you need to be there to meet them. And I said, and also like, and on a third note, I'm with them all day. So with them like running around doesn't faze me anymore. Like it doesn't faze me, but I know for you it does. Yeah. So I said he just almost has to like go with the flow. But I was like, dude, you got to check it at the door. And you almost have to, he almost looks at me first to see what my vibe.
Are you pissed or are you good?
Yeah. If he knows, like if he comes in and I have like music playing and things are calm, then he knows. But if he comes in and I'm like,
you give him the look.
Yeah. Then
If you have a glass of wine in your hand.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
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 I feel that.
Although I will tell you, I have not had, so because I was sick the past 2 weeks and going back to wine mom culture. So again, Kevin and I, we agreed that we're drinking too much during the week. We want to lay off. I want to lay off more or less because I gained weight over on vacation. I cannot freaking lose it. So I want to lose. So
yeah, but with nursing too, your body's like clinging on to it.
Well, it does, except it's clinging on to more than usual. Like
it's just the one tit, Mary.
It's the third child.
Dude, I know, but I was at like a good weight, and then we went on vacation. I gained 5 pounds from that, and I cannot shake it. And I'm just like one of those that gets a little weird about that shit. So I'm like, So I decided to cut it, and we got sick. I lost the weight, so I'm like, dude, I think it's the wine.
Yeah.
So I'm not, but I have to tell you, I will say this as an alternative wine mom thing. It makes me cope in a better way sometimes when I know that I don't have wine at the end of the night, because I know that I have to handle things in a different way. But that's an important topic that I think we need to discuss. Cause again, I think it's we look at wine as our reward. Like, I think it's fine. Like, trust me, you're talking to the biggest wino there is.
I can look at it like ice cream though.
Yeah.
Like the same type of deal.
I have a carton of ice cream over there.
My reward is Bravo. Watching like Real Housewives. I can't watch that with the kids around because I can't have the kids walking around calling each other crazy bitches.
No, right? But I think wine sometimes, for wine mom culture, sometimes just makes it look like you just have to get to a certain point. Like this is when you can start drinking because your kids have stressed you out. And it gets very easy to fall into that rhythm. And I think that's the important thing of wine mom culture, of like, of being the devil's advocate, of saying like, we need to be cognizant of that. And again, it's not an issue. It's just when it becomes so normalized to be like, yeah, your kids are stressing out, it's fine to have a glass of wine.
Yeah.
And it's made to seem like it's okay to do every single day.
Right.
Multiple times a day. What one glass turns to 2 glasses turn to 3. If you keep on doing it, so forth, so on. So
it's like a slippery slope.
Yeah.
That's where the thing needs to say. And I will say that from limiting myself during the week, I've actually had to take a deeper look in on myself and be like, how can I make this so the night goes easier and they go to bed? So that's like on a flip side of saying like, I don't know, I can see the wine mom culture what's that word?
Perpetuating?
Yeah. Perpetuating like a need.
I think that's more, they're like leaning it towards alcoholism.
But not necessarily, because alcohol, I don't know. Alcoholism confuses me, because I think, but that's another thing, is like there are now people calling out saying that you have alcoholism if you drink every single day.
Yeah.
I don't buy that. Like for me, I think of an old school alcoholic, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Yeah.
But like for me, I had a glass of wine every day, but I wasn't being mean. I wasn't sloppy. I was like a glass a day. So it was like but for some, they would say that that's a problem. So I don't know.
But it's like, you don't need to do it, which is the difference. I think alcoholics need to. And
I want to.
I've been pregnant or breastfeeding for like 5.
Right. Me too.
Right. I have 1 glass and that's all I need. And like sometimes during the week, I'm so tired, I don't even do it. So it's really more like a weekend thing. And I just don't even, if it was every day of the week.
Yeah.
So
no, I get it.
Also, I think like this much because I can't handle it anymore.
But I think it's interesting, Mary, like you were talking, like people talk about that if you have a glass of wine every day, that makes you an alcoholic. But what does that mean if you have a cup of coffee every day? I never really had thought about equating the two. Like it's
I've been getting that Keurig like 2 or 3 times.
We all have something. Yeah, there are better things to lean on, but everyone has something that they are leaning on to get them through.
And some things are more socially acceptable than others, and it's not fair.
Yeah. Like I think that's where the conversation needs to go, is like, we need to take a bigger look instead of shaming someone as to why they're drinking wine, or why they're drinking coffee, or why they're smoking pot, or why they're taking anxiety medication or any type of medication. Just mind your own business, first of all. And look at, like, just don't.
What other support could you use?
What other support can I offer you?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't
like look at
talk.
And look at the person as a whole. Like,
look at the
just
person as a
because you
whole. Don't
see-
even look at this. Like, this is
Yeah.
nothing. Like, this isn't, again, if you're noticing it in a detrimental way in
Right.
any of those things, any of the things I just mentioned, like
Right.
if you're noticing things in a detrimental way where someone is drinking coffee to oblivion because they are so tired, there's an
Mhm.
issue. If someone is drinking
Mhm.
wine because they are so stressed, there's an issue. If
Right.
someone's smoking so much pot because they are so stressed, there's an issue. If someone's
Mhm.
taking not medication is different because medication hopefully is something
It's fixing a
monitored.
bigger problem.
Yes.
But same thing, chances are there's
Right.
something you can help someone out with. So just stop shaming and just help people.
Be nice. It's so hard. Or
Yeah.
keep swiping, for goodness
Rule of
sake.
thumb is just if you're going to say, I've mentioned this on my stories. If you're going to say anything at all, make sure that it's something that they can change in 5 seconds or 5 minutes or less. And if not, butt out. Don't even say,
Right.
shit.
Yes.
Don't say shit and just
Right.
help.
Mhm.
Just help.
I think it's just unfair to, see 15 seconds of somebody's video and assume more about them or that and it's so easy to take a snapshot of somebody's life, whether it be in stories, reels, whatever, for good or bad. Like you could see somebody drinking wine, you could see them talking about the struggles of a mom and be like, oh my God, she's a terrible mom. But then you can also look at like 15 seconds of their life and like, oh my gosh, everybody's like smiling, everybody looks happy, they're off at Disneyland and everything looks hunky-dory.
Yeah.
But in reality, like the behind the scenes was a complete mess.
But that's it. But that's the thing. I at the end of the day, this whole like wine mom, I don't even know, we're wine mom culture, like all of that stuff. It's just,
Yes.
it's all an assumption of someone. It's all we're taking is an assumption of someone and we're not.
Yeah. One small piece of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, all right. So let's wrap up this. Jenna, what's your final summary?
Well, probably just all things in moderation. Like for me, if I'm drinking, I'm always in a state where I feel comfortable still taking care of my kids, taking care of the family. I can do everything that I need to do. I'm never like disoriented, any of that. Like I want to be ready if an emergency happens because I have a lot of anxiety about it. So I'm like, I'm not going to get crazy. So I know my limits and I think that's what's important.
Yeah, I agree on that one. I actually was just talking about that with Supporting Chaos, who we went through this whole Wienergate. That's what I like. We were just talking about that, but that's one of our things is how paranoid we get. And I am very careful. And usually I will, if I pour a glass of wine, it's when I know Kevin's coming home.
Yep.
Which I can do that now that he's coming home, but I'm not because I would be.
He's on his way.
Oh, thank God. But I agree on that one because I'm so paranoid. I need to know that I can get in the car and drive my kids to the ER.
To the ER. Exactly. That's exactly how I feel at all times.
All right, well, Katie, what's your 2 cents on wine mom drama?
I think number one, first and foremost, I think it's difficult to see the whole picture of somebody based on a 15-second video or a 2-minute story. And so I think it's unfair to characterize someone as something that they're not based on a small snippet of their lives. However, I also feel like just in general, that you could call it wine mom culture. You could call it, mom rage culture. You can call it whatever you want. There's all these things about, that sort of, it's like how to be a better mom. Like there's so much that we are bombarded with on a day-to-day basis of what we can be doing better, what we're doing wrong, what we need to change. And this is just tacking on one more thing that if done in moderation and if done responsibly, who's to say like, I have to change anything. Like I'm not using this as a crutch. I genuinely enjoy drinking red wine, just like I genuinely enjoy drinking lemonade or whatever else. Like I think for me, it's not a, for lack of a better word, it's not like a drug. It's not something that I feel like I need. It's just something that I enjoy having. And other moms out there, if you're listening and that's you, I don't think that you should feel shamed for that. And unfortunately, there's this new sort of wave of this like anti-mom wine culture that we're being bombarded with, just like everything else that we're being bombarded with. And it's just, I think it's unfair to just pile on one more thing to make moms feel badly about themselves for.
Especially with no help.
Yep.
Right.
Especially with no help. Let's just keep passing judgment and offer no assistance. That's the way I view it. And
everybody can do what they want to do. So if you don't want to drink wine, you don't want to swear, like, cool, you do you. But I don't think that it's fair to make moms who do those things in moderation and responsibly and still care for and love their children and who are still good moms. I don't think that they should be made to feel less than or not as good because they do those things.
Yeah.
Just like you could say, I give my kids screen time. I don't. And therefore I'm better because I don't, I choose to not
other
screen
thing.
time. Like that's enough is enough. I think we can all just support each other and know that we're all just trying our best and doing the best that we can and know how to do. And we try to get better every day.
Yeah. Agreed. Well, love it. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on. Tell everyone, I will tag your accounts in the description for the podcast. So if you guys are wanting to follow Jenna and Katie, you guys can find them at, there's Kev. I'm in the Uber. He's coming home. Woohoo. If you guys want to find Jenna and Katie, I'll tag them and go on from there, but they're great mom accounts. They're very similar to mine. And they're just, again, this is real life moms talking real life things. And we're all in this shit together. So if you're drinking wine while listening to this, awesome. If you're drinking coffee while listening to this, awesome. If you are drinking Diet Coke and drinking water, if you don't do any of that stuff, awesome.
Yep.
Again,
we're here for you.
We're here for you. You do you. You're a good mom. And that's all that matters.
We
don't care. We don't care. We care that you're raising good, happy, healthy kids. That's it.
Another episode down and way more to go. But thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode and you would like to help support this podcast, I would love for you to subscribe. I'd love for you to share it with others and post about it on your own social media or leave a rating and review. I cannot tell you how helpful and how appreciated those things are for me. Of course, to catch all the latest from me, you can follow me over on Instagram at The Very Merry Life, over on TikTok, The Very Merry Life. And even if you wanted to check out my monthly newsletter, you can do so by subscribing over at theverymerrylife.com. I'll see you next week. Stay tuned for more honest, raw, real chit chat. I have some amazing moms lined up coming on and shit's going to get fun. So buckle up, Buttercup. It's going to be good.